Veritas Presbytery originates as a separation from the Associate Reformed Presbyterian Church, a 200-plus-year-old denomination. I do have a video on the ARP Church if you want to learn what they're about. At the ARP's 2023 Synod, they appointed a special committee to investigate Second Presbytery's handling of allegations against Chuck Wilson. Second Presbytery was one of the 10 presbyteries in the church. This is a long story, but let's make it as short as possible. At 2024 Synod, the committee made its report, which said that former ARP pastor Chuck Wilson was accused of the highest forms of child abuse. The person who leveled these charges, Pastor Matt Miller, was pursued by members of Second Presbytery on disciplinary charges, which the ARP committee called troubling, as it indicates a culture of retaliation and inequity of process within Second Presbytery. The committee said, among other things, Mr. Matt Miller was accused of violating process. Mr. Chuck Wilson was accused of the highest forms of child abuse. The fact that judicial process was swift and precise against Mr. Matt Miller, but was ambiguous and crept along for months against Mr. Wilson is inexcusable. The ARP Special Committee report also made serious accusations regarding Second Presbytery's former moderator, Seth Yee, such as that he had engaged in entrapment, slander, and abuse of power, among other things. The report concluded that Second Presbytery was unable to function as a court of the church and was irrevocably broken. The report called for the dissolution of the presbytery and for its churches to be divided into two of the other remaining presbyteries. Over strong complaints from Second Presbytery's former moderator, Seth Yee, Synod voted by 254 to 43 to dissolve the presbytery by September 1st, 2024. The Synod meeting being in June, there were still 2.5 months till that date. Following the meeting, Second Presbytery's former moderator, Seth Yee, wrote lengthy responses, including that the dissolution of Second Presbytery was not only unprecedented but unconstitutional. Several of the technicalities of the ARPC's constitution were egregiously violated. Under disputed circumstances on August 13, the not yet dissolved Second Presbytery held a meeting which was declared out of order by its own moderator, Billy Barron, and at the meeting, Second Presbytery entertained a motion that if any minister or congregation requested transfer or dismissal out of the presbytery and denomination in writing prior to the dissolution of the presbytery, that it would be unconditionally granted. The motion was approved by a vote of 25 to 19. The next Sunday, 3 congregations voted to be dismissed and notification was given in writing. The next day, 5 ministers also transferred their credentials out, and the same day, August 19, formed a new denomination, Veritas Presbytery. One of the churches was the one pastored by former Second Presbytery moderator Seth Yee. Ultimately, 6 of 28 churches in Second Presbytery left the Associate Reformed Presbyterian Church, but only 3 of those joined Veritas Presbytery. A committee reporting to 2025 Synod stated, "It is certainly the opinion of our committee that the former Reverend Yee is deserving of discipline, but he has fled from the church, broken his vows, drawn disciples after himself, participated in an unnecessary and ungodly schism. It seems that Veritas Presbytery is likely a temporary stopping point." Seth Yee's church stated in April 2025 that Veritas Presbytery has been a refuge after the fallout of the 2024 ARP General Synod and the dissolution of Second Presbytery. Over the last 7 months, 1 minister has transferred out of Veritas Presbytery, and no other congregations or ministers have joined Veritas Presbytery. In considering the long-term future of our congregation, we have discussed the possibility of joining an existing Reformed Presbyterian denomination. We have narrowed it down to the Presbyterian Church in America, PCA, and the Communion of Reformed Evangelical Churches, CREC. This video is a clip from the longer video discussing new denominations in the last 2 years. Click here to watch it.